This is Michael Williams here, and I'm here with Julius again. Thank you, Julius, for uh, being willing to join us and share your experiences as you have in a couple of other videos, which already has changed lives. Like already people are telling me they're choosing Pro 90D because they watched your videos. So you're already changing lives, man. So thank you so much.
Of course, sir. Of course. Just hearing that, it makes me feel very, very appreciated. There's no words to express about that, you know. Um, Thank you so much for this opportunity to interview me after doing this for 3 months.
And so this is our last session, but we're going to have you back on to do some more interviews, some more live stuff, webinar. So we'll be seeing more of you. And hopefully, I've planted a seed that hopefully you'll, if you feel called to do this, you'll come back and maybe do some work with us because I think you have everything that it takes to actually help transform other people's lives too. So I hope that you'll keep that in mind.
Yes, definitely. I'm always keeping that in the back of my head, you know. Just got to get some priorities straightened out and see where I go in the next couple of months. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, from there on, probably do something new here, new chapter in life or just an expansion in life, because right now, pretty much everything's endless. I can't do
Right.
anything, I set my mind at. So, and I
That's
never
right.
really thought about one day helping others with their speech. It never ever crossed my mind. You know.
Yeah. So you were just saying before we started this interview how Pro 90D, you call it Pro 90 Day, which is technically correct because it's proactive speaking in 90 days, but you always call it Pro 90 Day, which sounds good too. I call it Pro 90 D. So call it whatever you want. But you mentioned how it's not just changed your speech, but it's also changed other aspects of your life. So say a little more about that.
Yes. So with the Pro 90 Day system, it definitely is not trying to fix anything. It's not trying to hide anything. It's not trying to hide your stutter or your stammer. You are changing everything mentally and mechanically, but it's definitely a lot of mental changes that you have to make. And the way I viewed my disfluency, the way I used to think about it, where I would fear it and I would doubt it, anticipate the worst. I noticed myself having those kinds of mental patterns in other areas in my life as well, where I would fear something or anticipate the worst in something else, in other aspects of life, not just the speech. And I would doubt myself in other activities or situations that are not speech related.
Mm.
But I have the same mental thinking, mental patterns,
Hmm.
just like the speech and with certain things in life. So I said, okay, when I was transforming my mental speech identity,
Hmm.
it started to change other this fluent identities with other things that I was fearing in life or I was doubting in life,
Right.
So it was really starting to change other aspects, because it all started mentally. So other things that weren't speech related, I would feel more confident doing. I
Mm.
would start thinking different ways, in regards to whatever I was dealing with in life, whether it was goal oriented or just, situations that I face. Now I
Right.
have a different type of mindset, all because in Pro 90 Day it was about changing the way I thought about my speech. But now it's it's um it's it bled through other areas.
Yes.
So
Right.
wow. So definitely that's what
Exactly.
happened.
So what I know that people are going to get from watching this is Pro 90D is holistic it will impact and affect virtually every area of your life, right? Health, relationships, mindset, self-esteem, confidence, career, everything. It, as you said, bleeds into everything because all those areas can affect your speech and your speech can affect all those areas. So Pro 90D is designed to impact all of those areas as well as your speech, right? By transforming the way that you think, your mindset, transforming your speaking identity, but also your identity in general, right? And obviously transforming the mechanics of speaking so that you can speak well, so you can improve your communication skills, right? So as you said, it's not just about, it's not really about treating. It's not about techniques. Yeah, there are techniques. It's not about uh, tricks and stuff. It's really about what I like to call replacing. Pro 90D replaces your current mindset, replaces your speaking identity, and replaces your way of speaking. It lays a whole new way of thinking, seeing yourself, and speaking, right?
Yes.
And that's what sets Pro 90D apart from virtually every other system in the world. I can confidently say that. I'm not saying that it's the only or it's the best. I believe that it probably is the best, but there could be something out there that's better. I don't know.
Yeah, there may be, but for this one, definitely worked for me, and I know it's going to work for a lot of other people, because we all have the same mindsets, you know, the same way of thinking,
Yeah,
and we have the same, needs, so.
yeah. So one challenge, well, there's a couple of challenges that people have, and I'm sure you had that I want to address specifically here. One is anticipating, and you spoke to that. Let's go a little deeper. So lots of people come into this because they're constantly anticipating the worst. They're anticipating words. They're anticipating letters they can't say. They're anticipating that they're going to block or stutter, although we don't use those words. We say get stuck, but I'm just going to use it for the audience. So they're anticipating I'm going to block on this word. I'm not going to be able to say this. And so they're scanning ahead. And a lot of them look for techniques. Can you give me a technique to help me so that I don't block on this word so I can say these words? Uh, Tell us about how, like, we all probably anticipate to some degree, but what was it like before Pro 90D? How did you anticipate? And what is it like now? And what would you say to people who are wondering, can Pro 90D help me to basically stop anticipating?
Yes, so anticipation was a big thing that I was really suffering from pre Pro 90-day system. I would anticipate words, syllables, vowels, just to a point where I couldn't say anything because now I'm focused on a certain word or a sound. And so the anticipation really was getting stronger and stronger. Um, and that anticipation feeling of the worst is about to happen started with the speech, and then it started to affect other areas now, so that mindset really is contagious. With the Pro 90-day system, to really counter that, to really replace that, now you have to replace it with a better type of anticipation. Not the worst, but the best. So instead of, I used to be like, okay, I would feel anticipation. Oh, this word's coming up. It's not gonna go well. I would tell myself, oh man, this is the one. But what we have to do now is saying, okay, I anticipate the best. I'm gonna say the sentence, and I anticipate myself speaking smoothly. I know I'm gonna be relaxed. You anticipate the good things, not the bad things. So if we can replace the negative anticipation with a positive anticipation, you know,
Right.
that's the key here. It's, starting with the mind and really replacing all the negative things with the positive things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
worst case scenario, the best case scenario.
I like
You know?
that.
So yeah, so definitely that's the key here. All mental, because yeah, once you think negatively, it's bound to happen. But when you think positively and you keep consistently thinking positively, no matter how you feel, it starts to change. It starts to
Right.
change.
So how did modeling help you with this positive anticipation and best case scenario? How did modeling help you with that?
Well, the thing with modeling is, so the skills and the techniques that you learn them so you know what you're doing when you are modeling. When you are modeling, you are doing these things, and you choose a model that definitely uses these skills and someone you want to aspire to sound like. When I model, I definitely try to think about my model, how he would feel in that certain situation. Well, he would feel relaxed and calm. He wouldn't be anticipating the worst. He's probably anticipating the best. He's probably not thinking about the worst case scenario. He's probably thinking about the best case scenario. So I don't just try to act like my model and speak like my model. I try to think of, okay, how would he be thinking right now? Okay, I'm going to think the same way.
Mm-hmm.
How would he be feeling? I would try to feel the same way. So it's really not all about, okay, I'm going to sound like him. I'm just going to try to talk like him. I try to talk like him. I try to feel like him. And I try to definitely try to, talk and feel and think like a model. So that really started to change the negative mindsets, and say, okay, you know what? My model used to be where I was at. He's in a better place. This is how he's thinking now. I can do the same thing. I can anticipate the good. I can anticipate the positive. Because if I can anticipate the negative, why can't I anticipate the positive now? I can.
Right.
So that's what goes through when I'm modeling.
Yeah.
Definitely modeling is not just like a straightforward thing. It's definitely holistic in its own right.
Yeah. So I like to call modeling also a positive distractor. And for many people, modeling is temporary. For some people, it's longer term. I used to model my guys, mostly Brian Tracy, but also a guy named Charles Stanley when I used to preach, because I was a preacher at one point. And I was more of a teacher. And that's why I liked Charles Stanley. I wasn't one of those, I didn't used to like that. I was more of always a teacher. So that's why I didn't get along with a lot of Baptist ministers back in the day, because they would be singing and doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I was just like, I want to teach. But anyway, so I had two models, but one primary model. And I modeled them for years because it made me feel more powerful. In fact, there's a book called Alter Ego, which I've shared before, and it's essentially about modeling. And there's different ways to model. It's not just this one way, but essentially it's about, that was my wife. It's about, for those who are watching, it's about stepping into another persona. And you would be surprised how many athletes, singers, other professionals either still do it now or did it in the beginning of their career, to put themselves in another state so that they could perform at higher levels that they wouldn't be able to perform if they were acting as themselves. So modeling it's very natural. We did it when we first learned how to speak. So everyone has modeled. People say, oh, that doesn't work. It already has worked. It is working, right? Everyone's modeled. And people who are high performers have modeled or are modeling, right? So it absolutely works. And what I would do is put myself in that state when I would teach. So I would feel like my model. So I'd feel more confident, feel more power. and I would forget about myself. So I never, when I was presenting or teaching, or I never thought about stuttering because I was thinking the way my model would think. I was acting the way my model would act. I was speaking the way my model would speak. And by doing that so many times, I created a new speaking identity, right? And then once I learned how to transfer that into my conversations, then I was able to also improve the way. So I mean, it's probably the most powerful tool in in the Pro 90D arsenal, I would say.
Yes, it definitely is. That's literally your transformation tool to your fluent identity right there, you know? And I model all the time, not in regards to speech. I modeled for years when I tried to, when I was starting to go into the gym, I would watch and listen and just observe people squatting and benching and deadlifting, and I would mimic them. I try to be exactly like them. So I'm modeling in there. When I
There you
was
go.
learning guitar, I would observe my favorite guitarists and I would act like them, and
There you
that
go.
everything I've done in my life, I would model people. So this is the same thing, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anticipating, you find now that either you don't do it or it you rarely do it. Like, how is it for you now in terms of scanning ahead, anticipating? I mean, we probably, again, let's just be honest. There are probably times where we all may do it depending on the situation, but what's it like for you now in terms of anticipating?
Well, with the anticipation, it still occurs, you know. The I want to say the I don't want to say the intensity. The It definitely does occur. I'm losing a word here. The
We can
duration,
say, yeah, you can say intensity and or duration. Yeah.
yeah, or
Mhm.
duration definitely occurs. The voice is still there. I don't really think that voice will really quiet down um, for some time. I still need to, keep at this so the voice can, get softer and softer. But it definitely comes up. Anticipation, even some doubt, some worry does creep up, and I know it does. But the way I handle it and the way I handle the outcome of it, the way my mind is now, it is I am more prepared and more geared up to handle it than I used to be. If I would feel the anticipation, I have the tools, in my arsenal to just handle it. Even if it does overcome me, I can still handle it way better than I used to. I
Right.
used to fold over and just let it be, just take it what it is. Oh well, but it's not going to be that way, anymore. The more I continue this better way of thinking,
Yeah.
in speech. So yeah, it definitely comes up, and it definitely sometimes I feel like it has control over me, but like I said, I have better tools now to deal with it, handle it, and to pass it where it won't
Right.
affect me anymore. And I just keep going, just keep going.
So here's something. Here's another lesson that I guess I want people to learn, or something that I want people to take from this is you're able to recover better and faster, right? Um, and there's another word that starts with the R too, but I can't think of it right now. But you're able to rebound, whatever you want to call it. Your mindset changes so that if you do anticipate, you deal with it smoothly and easily. It's not a big deal. If you do get stuck, you navigate around it and through it. You recover very, very quickly. It's not a big deal. So Pro 90D helps you create that mindset, that identity, and you have tools, like I said, that helps you recover and kind of reset really quickly, really easily, really smoothly, where other people don't even know that you got stuck. And eventually you will barely know that you got stuck. You'll just like it's a bump in the road, I call it. You just go over the bump. Oh, okay, that was a bump. And you keep going. That's the power of Pro 90D. It's not about total elimination, although for some people that does happen. I would have to say only in Spanish do I anticipate. There may be times in English, but it's very, very rare. Only in Spanish do I anticipate, do I get stuck, can't say something I want to say. But because now I practice every weekend, I was speaking Spanish today to some people who were here, and they speak Portuguese, but they understand Spanish. So I'm speaking Spanish with them. And now it's becoming easier because I'm doing it every weekend, right? So now I'm becoming more relaxed and more confident in building successful speech. If I did it every day, then I'd be, so it's about having the tools. Like I know what I need to do. And when I get stuck now in Spanish, I recover very, very quickly. And literally sometimes I stutter or stammer, block, if you want to call it that. I don't call it that. But literally that's what happens. That's why I want people to know I still know what it feels like because it happens to me, but it's happening less and less because I'm using the tools that I'm sharing with you, and they work and they are working. And if I immersed myself within a month or two, I'd be way more fluent, way more confident.
Definitely. Yes, I definitely agree with that. And the one thing I've learned as well is that in the beginning of this, I was very, excited. And when I was starting the Pro 90-day system, the sticky points didn't really affect me that much. But when you start to put in the hours in and the months in and you start learning the tools and modeling, the sticky points definitely, they start to frustrate you only because you think to yourself, oh man, it's been 3 months. I should be fluent. I should be somewhere, far better where I am now. And so the smallest things will literally set you off and say, oh man, what's going on? I thought I know how to do this. I thought I'm on the right track. Now I'm failing. That's something that I'm pretty sure many of us experience when you put so much time and effort into something and you still see certain things or a situation where it just is out of control and you lost control. That mindset, it's very unrealistic. It doesn't matter how much time you put in, it's still going to happen. You just got to keep going with it. So that's the one thing I want to tell other people is doesn't matter how much time you put into it. If it's a small thing or a big thing, it's fine. You got to keep going. Don't think that you have to be somewhere at a certain point in this thing.
Yes.
Just So yes, I would experience that a whole lot. I would tell you, sir, I'd come on and I'm really frustrated right now because I thought I would be way better, but I am. I can't,
That is so brilliant, man. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's why that's why I want you to be a coach
Yeah.
or a speaker or something. You just hit several nails on the head. And yeah, I mean, obviously I've been doing this. I've worked with thousands of clients now. I thought just maybe 100, but now it's thousands of clients and probably helped tens of thousands of people in the course. And this is something that people struggle with. They want to be a certain place. It's human nature, right? But this process will transform that expectation and mindset where it's like, if I were to have focused every time I got stuck or every time I get stuck, I wouldn't be where I am today. You just got to roll with it and focus on your progress, because obviously if you focus on your progress, you probably made a lot more progress than what you even know. Ergo the pre-video. When you look at the pre-video, sometimes we forget because wherever we go, there we are. Right? We are where we are. We see what we see. We experience what we experience. It's hard to go back and say, okay, well, this is how I thought and felt. But when you look at your pre-video, you say, wow, and look at where I was just a few short months ago. And look at my speech, my confidence, my self-esteem, my mindset, my identity. And then look at where I am just a few months later. And then imagine if you keep going, I've seen this 3, 6 months down the line, give yourself a year. It's not about getting to a place where you don't stutter. It's about you're going to be a superior speaker. You're going to have supreme confidence, better than the average person. Your speech and your whole ability to communicate is going to be one of your greatest assets. So you're going to go from like down here, other people are here. Obviously, there's people up here, but other people, you're going to go from here all the way up to here in like maybe a year. And I watch it. I see people like when I talk to them 6 months later, and they're like, oh my, and I see their speech is way better than when they left me. So you really hit the nail on the head. This is, you got to look at this journey differently. You got to have realistic expectations. And if you trust the process, you're going to come out a lot better than when you came in. And really, 3 months is fast. People are looking for one day, a few hours, a few days, a week, 7 days. 3 months is nothing. And the science supports that as well.
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. In my case, I'm just scratching the surface. I'm going to keep going and do bigger and better things with my speech. Doing Toastmasters, putting myself out there in more high pressure situations, doing more presentations, just everything. I need to keep going forward with it and not stall and then, slowly go back to the old ways. Can't do
Right.
that. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
So one more question that I'll ask, and then we'll wrap up, and that is,
Yes, sir.
um, in terms of the money, even for the self-study, like, I encourage people, and we're getting ready to launch a brand new self-study. You and I kind of talked about that, and I'm rolling in some of the feedback that you've given me. So I want people who are watching this to know that our self-study evolves and it gets better. It's like the difference between driving a 1975 car and a 2020 car. It's like, yeah, you can drive to 75, get you there, but the 2020 or 20, even the 2018 is going to be updated. It's more efficient. It's safer. It's might get you there faster or whatever. So someone says, well, can't I just use your old system? Yes, you can. But there's been so much that's been updated that it's more efficient, it's more effective, it's just better. So that's why you want to get the new one. But with that, people are wondering, first of all, does the system really work? Right? That's one doubt or belief, but this probably doesn't really work. I've tried everything. I've even tried Pro 90 degree. Didn't work for me. Does it really work? Will it work for me? Right. So people are asking, will it work for me? My situation is different. So will it actually work for me? And then some people, it's like, maybe I won't do the work. Like, how you get into a program and you just fizzle out. You just don't want to do the work. So there's those three. And then, is it worth the money? Whether it's the self-study, which is a fraction of the price, or the coaching, right? Is it worth the money? So I want you to address those kind of four things. One, does it really work? Will it work for me because I'm different? Will I do the work? And then, is it worth the money, whatever that money is for that person?
Of course, of course. First thing is, I'm just going to speak about experience.
Mm-hmm.
Is that with me is I really wanted to change my disfluency, and I'm sure many of you, everyone does as well. And when I discovered the pronunciation system years ago on YouTube, I was just watching the videos and trying it out. I knew because I was watching it, I knew there was a coaching program and a self-study. I didn't even get the self-study or the coaching. I was just watching YouTube videos thinking it might work. And then I would stop watching, go back to it on and off. And so that doesn't work. So having a program works. Just doing whatever with no strategic plan doesn't really work. We all know this. When I got to the point where I wanted to invest in a program, that's what it is. And it's an investment. Obviously, I had this gut feeling, this calling. I had to do the Pro 90 Day. I don't know what it was. It was just something I felt because maybe I watched it, plenty of times. I was hearing the testimonials, the before and afters. Just I had a good feeling about it. But yes, there's always that feeling where I said to myself, it's probably too good to be true. Is the money worth it? I know when I start this, I need to put the focus, time, and energy into it. Do I have that right now? I know that there was a lot of questions that I was feeling, but told myself, okay, you've been searching for something. When you are searching for something, you don't know what's gonna work, what's gonna help. You don't know because you're trying to find something that does. And the only way you would know is to do it, because everything is the unknown. Every choice that you wanted to pick for a speech program, it's the unknown. You don't know. And some of them, are more expensive or more cheaper or whatnot. But I don't think the price. I don't think the price compares to the value of the program. The value of the program outweighs the price, because it is an investment. Because you are investing your time, your energy, and your focus on something that you really want to use to improve your life. So, what was I saying? So, when I chose the Pro 90 Day, I told myself, okay, if I choose something, I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to put 110% into it. That way, whatever the outcome of this thing, a couple months down the line, a couple days down the line, whatever happens, as long as I put 110% into something, I'm not going to have any regrets, expensive or not. As long as I put in 110% into something, whatever the outcome, at least I'm not going to regret it. Because I don't want to be 80 years old, and look back and say, man, I could have just pulled the trigger on that. I'm 80 and I still have this thing hovering over me. And at that time I was sweating over a couple thousand. Like I would literally try to go back in time and say, yeah, let's do it. So obviously I did take the money into consideration, but I saved up. I saved up some money, hold it off for when I really want to use it for something like this, I could use it, So it was all about not regretting. I didn't want to regret anything, So, even with all the testimonials, all the YouTube videos and everything I heard, you still have that unknown feeling, but it was that leap of faith. You say, all right, take the leap of faith, do it 110%, give it your best. Whatever outcome, at least you tried it. At least you gave it all you got, and it won't be the end of the world, And at that point, you either say, okay, that was the best decision, or, okay, I probably should have made a better decision, but it's okay because I made one, Have people that you made a decision, you are blessed with making choices, and you can go forward and make more choices. So that's the thing, the leap of faith. I knew, what, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to do it. Let's see. And then you start to build that belief. You start to do the program, you start to go through it. Okay. And then the money issue just kind of just fades away.
Exactly. I remember you said before we started the interview that this was one of the top whatever number of decisions that you've made in your entire life. Well,
For your doing. Yeah,
exactly. I
yeah,
remember, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I had a client and I was talking to him. I think his name is Muhammad. And I met with him a couple of years ago and he wasn't convinced. He wasn't sold on the program, which happens, to a lot of people. And so he went and joined another program and spent thousands of dollars. And it taught him strange ways of breathing. And so, and I know that that program has helped, I don't know, probably millions of people, but but he had to breathe in a different way. And it was strange. And he's just like, I don't want to really speak like that. And so he ended up coming back around a couple of years later, back to me. And his speech was pretty severe. It was pretty severe. And we worked and he went through some huge ups and downs. I mean, same thing that you would go through and drop down and still struggling and stuff. And now we've been done for several months now. And I talked to him and he's like, yeah, now my speech and I saw him, his speech was pretty amazing now. This is several months after we stopped. And he's thinking about coming back again to do some fine tuning and even go to another level, um, which we offer. But the thing is, this thing just keeps going. It just keeps making you better and better. My point here is you can look around, you can say, I'm not convinced of this. And you can try other stuff, but do your research because this
yeah.
is, these are not tricks. The science is here. People can see you.
Yeah.
This is the real deal. This really does work. Of course, people are saying, well, Michael, of course you're saying that because you're the founder. But too many people are saying the same thing. And you know what I mean?
Oh, right. Yeah, totally, totally. And like I said, I was at that mindset saying, oh, should I do this? Should I not? Is it going to work? Only way to know is to do it. But now that I know that it does, I can use this forever now. I have this program to use for my speech for a lifetime, and I can use this program for all aspects of my life. I could literally use this for other things. So this definitely opens big possibilities, different mindsets that I have, and yeah, I have no regrets. This was definitely one of the best decisions that I've made in my life, it all starts with a choice, just like joining the military, signing my life away for 4 years. Did I know if it was going to be awesome? No. I was scared about it. I don't know what I was going to expect, but I took the leap of faith. You just take the leap of faith sometimes, and life works out well that way. I
Yeah.
say if the Pro 90-day system, it keeps coming back to your mind, and you try to get, you start to get that gut feeling about it, and you just, it just keeps coming into your mind more and more. Just try to take a step back and see what the universe is trying to tell you. Try to listen to say, okay, I keep thinking about this program. Maybe it's telling me something here. Maybe it's coming to me for a reason. And that's what I was feeling.
Yeah.
I kept on going back to it. Kept on thinking about your program. And so I said, you know what, this is not just something that's coming to my mind for no reason. I'm thinking about it more and more. So I think the universe is telling me something here. Life is telling me, hey, try this, go this way, do
Right.
it,
Wow.
So,
Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate this. And again, as I told you, we're going to have you back to do
of course.
some live stuff. But thank you so much for being willing to share and be here and speak with people and inspire people. So yeah, so we'll wrap up here. But I really do appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for everything that you've done. Everything you've done for me, all the feedback, encouragement, all of it. Much appreciated.